as you are looking at the, who do I talk to? Patrick. Okay, so what do you mean by searching a hashtag? So you can go on to Instagram here. And when you push the search button, you can actually search different hashtags. So you can search hashtags of like-minded people, if that makes sense. Oh, and okay, so this is from Carol on the ASEA Healthy Self page that you showed. It does have the word ASEA on there. I don't worry too much about, you will find testimonies that say ASEA on them. They'll mention ASEA. I don't always avoid mentioning ASEA or trying to hide it, if you will, but usually in the text message that I send to them, I usually just don't mention ASEA. So I mention it as few times as possible, but I don't completely avoid it because, of course, yeah, it is on the ASEA Healthy Self group. So you can't avoid that. All right. Any other questions that come up? All right.
I have a question. Alyssa, I've got a question for you. Given that you've done how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm well. Given that you've done the social media thing for a while now, when it comes to reaching out and making the friends and saying, hey, how are you doing? In your experience, planning and thinking about it, how much time or how many contacts, and I know it depends on the person, but does it kind of fall between several contacts before you are able to get ASEA in there, or or do you purpose to develop the relationship a little bit longer before you bring that in? And how do you fight against this? I am reaching out to you to be friends with you, to show you ASEA, like this genuine, I do care about you as a human being, and that's why I reached out to start with, versus I am sharing something with you, and that is why I found you.
Yeah, great question, Dawn. I'm actually, I think Tess, you're on here, right? I'm going to answer really quick, but Tess actually shared a great response to this question. We did a social media training last Saturday, and so I would love to have her share her response as well. So I will just say that, there are two trains of thought with reaching out to people on social media. You can be, direct with people and upfront with them right away when you're reaching out. So honestly, like the first message that you send to them can say, hey, I'm reaching out because, right? Or you can build rapport, build a relationship and everything like that. So building a relationship takes more time, right? It's going to take more of your time to build that relationship. And then you can bring up ASEA later, right? But you're going to have a higher return rate, if you will. So you'll have more people who are open and receptive if you're willing to build a relationship. Now, if you're sending a direct message and just getting right to the point, some people are like, hey, I just want to be open and honest with people and just send them a message. You're going to have to go through more people, but it won't take you as much time because you're just sending them a message all the time, right? So there's kind of two trains of thought with that. But then Tess, can you answer really quick, how long do you build that relationship, and how do you balance, being authentic and the cold message script?
Absolutely. So I don't have much to add to what you just said, but I think building a relationship long-term is so much easier for people to trust you, because if you start with a question like, it had something to do with a business, for example, then I find it very, very difficult to get people to, trust you from the first line. So for me, it has been building relationship long-term for sure, but it can be everything from like one day or 1 week or 1 month, or I even have enrolled people like 1 or 2 years later. So it depends, like you said yourself, on the person. But I would say that people trust you and get to, when people trust you and get to know you, it's so much easier to have them try the products or start building a business with you.
Awesome. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Dawn? Yeah. Great. Any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Alyssa, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
It was great meeting you in Nashville.
You too.
Taking pictures with you,
Yeah,
profiling.
I loved it.
So my question is, hey guys, how's everyone? So I have two questions. One, have you noticed a particular platform being sort of like the go-to platform, say LinkedIn opposed to Facebook? Any, some people say on LinkedIn, you have a, kind of higher caliber of people where they're more business minded. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I would just say that I think the success is not on the particular platform that you choose, but your dedication to learning that platform and mastering that platform that will bring you success, if that makes sense. So if LinkedIn is something that is a platform that seems to resonate with you, then you'll probably have the ability to connect with people who are like you, right? So I would just say, go somewhere, go to whichever platform resonates the most with you. For me, it's been Facebook because it's had Facebook groups. But, some people love Instagram, right? Some people love TikTok. So pick a platform that you find you're like, I want to spend time mastering this platform and showing up on the platform. So making sure that if you choose LinkedIn, you're posting things, you're reaching, that you're actually active on the platform as well as reaching out to people. So I don't know if that answers your question, but really it's just, it's rather than trying to say, well, maybe this one's better, or maybe this one, I'll try this one, I'll try this one. It's just the same as anything else. Your ability to master one thing is going to bring you the most success. So that's what my response would be.
Cool. I have a second question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the second question, it's kind of like a little, different, and I'm not sure if you have some experience, but I'm sure you can collaborate with this. Well, I work with a VA to work on social media. So I'm basically testing her out, training her, getting her plugged in. Would there be anything that you would share from a VA perspective that could increase her, success? Anything that you can speak along those lines?
Yeah. So as far as just like hiring a VA to help you with everything. Yeah. I mean, you could
with social media.
Right.
Marketing.
Yeah. And I would just say, I'm going to answer that really quickly because I don't think it speaks to the masses really, but I would just say that really, having them, they can help to post for you. They can post in stories, and then they can also help you with the follow-up. I think the follow-up is always key. So reaching out and building relationships and then making sure that they're going and helping you with the follow-up process as well. So that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Fred. And then, okay, we have someone who raised their hand, but it just says Zoom user. So Zoom user, do you have a quick question? Okay. I don't think so. Did I answer the questions that they're in the chat?
Sandra's asking something about the pros and cons of using broadcast mode in WhatsApp.
Oh,
If
yeah.
it's for like the initial reach out or what that question is.
Yeah. Could you expand on that, of the question of using WhatsApp for broadcast mode? Was it would just be like your contact list and then just sending them a mass message probably is what you might be looking at. Again, pros and cons with being direct with people and indirect with people and building rapport and relationship. I think you're going to be able to send it out to a bunch of people, but you may not get very many responses as if you were specifically reaching out to every single individual themselves and being a person, really. So I always recommend being a person over just doing a broadcast to it's just the same as like you have an email, you might have an email campaign list, right? And you could just send a mass email to all those people. But once you've sent that email, it's kind of hard to reach back out to them later. So that would be my recommendation there.
Can I add something to that?
Yes, please.
If you do a video presentation of yourself or a voice message and send it to several people or many people, hundreds, thousands, whatever you want, then it feels more personal to people. But as Alyssa said, it's better to send that message to one person at a time. I know it takes more time, but you will have more responses for sure.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. Yeah, we've always found that voice memo is a great way to be able to communicate because it's your authentic self, and same with video as well.
So they see you.
Okay, so we've got one more question and then we're going to wrap up for the morning. We know that the products work well. I started to give them my friends, my family, a little information about ASEA. Most of them thought it was good, too good to be true, and became skeptical to attend a product presentation. How do you approach these kind of people with that? Specifically, my circle of friends is in the medical field. Hey, Carolyn. They said medical field, so I just have to.
I knew you were going to throw that at me. Well, anyone who knows me knows that I don't approach the medical field. Just because I find that that's the slowest route to build a business. So I'm not really great on that as a support piece. I guess one would have to kind of question, their mindset about the fact that, are they the type of person who seeks out the newest discoveries? Because at some point, something is always going to be new to each one of us. And I guess it's really about having a conversation, isn't it? I don't think there are kind of set answers. I think you have to ask those questions and get tease out of them. What is it that's blocking them? That just because something is particularly or appears particularly effective, what is it that's holding them back from being willing to at least explore and learn more to understand why we see the breadth of it? One of those challenges we have is definitely that because we're working systemically in every single cell, we've taken away this mindset of, well, there's this particular issue and we use this specific thing for that particular issue. We're going to software resetting on the body. And when we do that, possibilities are broad and not so confined. I would have to ask questions, really, I think, about, and you could kind of be a little bit devil's advocate, well, if this was back in, the 20s or 30s and someone came to you with penicillin just because it seemed too good to be true, would you not be at least willing to learn about it? And maybe I might have conversations about, well, of course, sometimes we're not always, I can certainly say I was the same, right? I turned this down and I can kind of understand that, especially when we come across something that does feel too good to be true. But I guess the question would be, what if? What if this is something that could do things that you've not had the opportunity to do before because we're approaching this from a perspective that we've not done before? And what is the loss? Just take a little bit of time to learn, because the loss is not just about your lack of knowledge, but is the touch point that you have because of the people that you work with, who potentially this could be the missing link for their healing. So I guess that would be kind of where I'm, it's not totally succinct because I'm not really a script kind of person, but I would ask the questions if you can and get into getting them to explain why they're so blocked, because I don't think you can kind of deliver something that's going to change somebody's mind that way. You've got to get them to open up.
Well,
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I think that's a perfect way to conclude, because Carolyn is going to be speaking to us next week. And I don't know about you, but that just made me really, really excited to hear from her next week. And she has a wealth of knowledge. So make sure you set aside time next week, this same time, to be here live. I think there's such power in being here live with all of us. So you guys, thank you so much for your time. And can't wait for next week, Carolyn. We'll see you guys all then.
Can I ask you a question real quick? Can they put in the chat? the link for the YouTube where this is going to be posted?
Things will be sent out by your leader, so you'll get
Oh,
everything that you
okay.
need. Don't worry.
Thank you. All
You're
right.
welcome.
Appreciate
Bye,
it.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.